Story 4. The Tale of the Porter and the Three Ladies of Baghdad. The Porter's Day. In the heart of ancient Baghdad, a bustling city filled with bazaars, palaces, and narrow winding streets, lived a humble porter. He spent his days carrying heavy loads for a meager wage, moving from one market stall to another, sweating under the weight of spices, silks, and other wares. Despite the hardships of his daily life, the porter maintained a cheerful disposition, always greeting others with a smile and a kind word. One hot afternoon, as he was resting near a fountain, a beautiful and elegantly dressed young woman approached him. Her eyes sparkled with kindness, and her voice was as melodious as a nightingale song. "Good sir," she said, "would you be so kind as to assist me in carrying my purchases home? I have a few errands to run, and I need a strong man like yourself." The porter, eager for work and enchanted by the woman's beauty, readily agreed. He followed her through the bustling streets of Baghdad, stopping at various shops to gather her purchases. As the sun began to set, they arrived at a grand and mysterious mansion. The mysterious mansion. The young woman led the porter into the mansion, where he was greeted by two other equally beautiful women. Each woman radiated an air of grace and mystery. They introduced themselves as sisters Zubaida, Amina, and Safia. The porter marveled at the luxurious surroundings. Ornate carpets, delicate lanterns, and exquisite tapestries adorned the rooms. "Thank you for your help," Zubaida, the eldest sister, said with a warm smile. "You must be weary and hungry. Please be our guest tonight and enjoy our hospitality." The porter, though hesitant at first, accepted their generous offer. The sisters treated him to a lavish feast, with dishes that tantalized his senses: roasted meats, fragrant rice, and sweet pastries. As the evening progressed, they shared stories and laughter, and the porter found himself charmed by the sisters' wit and intelligence. The Night of Revelations. As the night deepened, the sisters' behavior became increasingly mysterious. They brought out musical instruments and began to sing and dance, their melodies haunting and enchanting. The porter, though captivated, sensed that there was more to these women than met the eye. "Dear guests," Safia, the youngest sister, said suddenly, "we have entertained you with our hospitality, but there is something we must ask of you in return. We have a secret that we cannot reveal without your promise to keep it." Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, the porter agreed to their request. The sisters then led him to a hidden chamber within the mansion. There, they revealed three peculiar items: a blood-stained shirt, a shattered mirror, and an old, rusty sword. "These items tell the story of our lives," Amina began, her voice tinged with sadness. "We each have a tale of sorrow and tragedy, and tonight we wish to share them with you." Zubaida's tale. Zubaida, the eldest sister, spoke first. "I was once married to a wealthy and powerful merchant. We lived in happiness and prosperity until one fateful night when our home was attacked by bandits. My husband fought bravely to protect me, but he was killed, and I was taken captive. For years, I endured the horrors of captivity until I managed to escape. This blood-stained shirt belonged to my beloved husband, a reminder of the life I lost and the love that was taken from me." The porter listened with a heavy heart, feeling Zubaida's pain and loss. Amina's tale. Amina, the middle sister, began her story next. "I was betrothed to a nobleman who loved me dearly. We were to be married in a grand ceremony, but on the eve of our wedding, he was struck by a mysterious illness. Despite the efforts of the best physicians, he succumbed to the sickness. In my grief, I shattered the mirror that was to adorn our bridal chamber, symbolizing the broken dreams and promises of our future." Tears welled in Amina's eyes as she recounted her sorrow, and the porter felt a deep empathy for her. Safia's tale. Finally, Safia, the youngest sister, shared her story. "I fell in love with a brave warrior who served in the Caliph's army. We planned to marry upon his return from battle, but he never came back. He was slain in combat, and this rusty sword is all that remains of him. I kept it as a symbol of his courage and the love we shared, though it was cut short by the cruelty of war." The porter's heart ached for Safia, understanding the depth of her loss. The intruders. As the sisters finished their tales, a sudden noise broke the silence of the night. The porter and the sisters turned to see 3 dervishes, each with one eye and one arm, standing at the doorway. The dervishes, having heard the sisters' stories, introduced themselves and shared their own tragic tales of loss and misfortune. The dervishes revealed that they were princes who had been cursed and stripped of their kingdoms. Their hardships had brought them together, and they had wandered the land seeking solace and redemption. The sisters, moved by the dervishes' stories, welcomed them with open arms, offering them shelter and hospitality. The caliph's arrival. Just as the atmosphere began to lighten, there was a loud knock at the door. The porter opened it to find the Caliph of Baghdad, Harun al-Rashid, accompanied by his vizier, Jafar, and his chief of police, Masrar. The Caliph, disguised as a commoner, had been wandering the city to observe his subjects and had been drawn to the mansion by the sounds of music and laughter. The Caliph and his companions entered the mansion, and the sisters, recognizing the importance of their guests, greeted them with great respect. The Caliph, curious about the gathering, requested that the stories be retold. The porter, the sisters, and the dervishes recounted their tales once more, each story adding to the tapestry of tragedy and resilience. A new dawn. Moved by the accounts of love, loss, and perseverance, the Caliph declared that the sisters and the dervishes would be granted new lives free from their past sorrows. He offered the dervishes positions in his court, where their wisdom and experience would be valued. He also ensured that the sisters would be provided for, their home protected, and their future secured. The porter, who had been an integral part of this extraordinary night, was rewarded with a generous sum of money and a promise from the Caliph that he would never have to struggle again. With the first light of dawn, the Caliph and his entourage departed, leaving behind a mansion filled with hope and gratitude. The porter, the sisters, and the dervishes shared a final meal together, their hearts lighter and their spirits uplifted.